I'm Alex Stewart, and I'm from Costa Mesa, and this is my story. So my parents, they grew up Catholic, and then, long story short, in their 20s, they get saved, encounter Jesus, and from that point on, they start living their life for Jesus. And then when I get born, I start living my life for Jesus. Just in a Christian household, like grew up watching Veggie Tales and like knowing all the little Bible verses. And yeah, just like always grown up in a house that honored the Lord with all their heart. So okay, so there's a time when I was growing up and I just was very like half in, half out. I was playing basketball, and with my basketball friends, I was a different Alex. And then I went to church. I knew how to play church, and I just really didn't understand the weight that a relationship with Jesus really meant. And then when I was 17, I went to a church camp with just me and my dad, and I was just like not in the mood because it's like, bro, I don't want to do this like one-on-one with my dad. But it ended up being one of the craziest turning points in my life, and I ended up giving my life to Jesus there because I just was overwhelmed with how much grace that he had given me for the long road of not following him and putting on a mask, saying that I was Christian on the outside, but on the inside, I just am not living for him. So yeah. Okay, so I went to high school around here. So I've known about Vanguard. I knew about Coach Soliday and some of the other coaches that were here for the basketball program. And the summer between my junior and senior year, I was playing a lot of basketball tournaments, not really getting a lot of interest from coaches. And then I ended up going to this church camp in Hawaii. It was crazy. And it was like, I was at a point where I was like, God, I don't want to do basketball. I don't want to do anything if it isn't for you. So I literally just laid that down. I was like, God, do whatever you want with my life, and I'll be obedient to it. Then like 2 weeks later, I get a call from Coach Soliday, and for the first hour, all we're talking about is how good God has been in our lives. And it was like one of the craziest experience. Like he's telling me like he was in Alaska, like doing a basketball tournament. I was telling him like all the like little Bible studies that I was leading, and just totally just honoring the Lord and praising him for how he's been in our lives. And then then hour goes by, and then like 5 or 10 minutes later, he's like, yeah, okay, Alex, it's so great. But I actually want you to come play basketball here. And I was like, this is crazy. So yeah, and then just through the obedience of like, God, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it, turn into a cool opportunity to come to Vanguard. So my freshman year, I've just been praying just for God to move in not just like my basketball team, but athletics in general. And one of the words that somebody had up in the upper management was that a new swing of revival on campus was going to be through the athletes being on their face, being like kneeling before the Lord. And I've just, ever since I've been at Vanguard, I've totally partnered with that vision. And really quick testimony, real quick. Actually, was it this week? Yeah, this Monday, one of our players one player rededicated his life to Christ, and then one of them dedicated their life to Christ for the first time. And it was just like all the prayers of like, Jesus, like move, Jesus, like I'm expectant prayers, like the prayer of a righteous person, like God honors. That's what scripture says. And so like just seeing how simple obedience leads to miracle moments. And I've seen God do that just in the little things of people ask me to do random Bible studies, or just like people, like just seeing people praying, or just seeing people like, I don't know, just like singing and worshiping. Like there's like the people who have God and the people who are pursuing his presence, like it will bleed into other things, other people, other lives. So yeah, one of the things that has been a prayer of mine recent, or for a while, honestly, is I just think there's a lot of people who have Jesus misrepresented by the church, by people, by programs, by music. Like I just think there's a very weird like view that sometimes people have of Jesus. And so one of my prayers is like that people would encounter the real Jesus through the people that they talk to, and especially through my life. Like I want to be somebody that it doesn't sugarcoat anything, but gives you like, obviously I'm not Jesus, so I can't really do that, but the best I can to spend time with him, and be holy as he is holy, and spending time with him is like, that's the whole walk of like trying to represent Jesus correctly, because so many people walk away from Jesus because they have a misrepresentation of like he's a God that is just distant and just doesn't really care, or a God that does care so much and it's like you're not doing it right. And it's like that's just not who he is. Like there's just like I don't know. Maybe you can clip that up. Okay, so one of my favorite Bible verses is Psalm 63:3 that says, "Because your love is better than life, my lips will glorify you." And I think it's just such a cool reminder of like, because like it's the love of God, the love of Christ, like poured out, like demonstrated on the cross, that I get to glorify him. And it's because that is true. My lips will glorify him, forever glorify Jesus. And so that's been the way of life for me for a little bit.